I saw another example on this, and it was not that great. The demo is pretty cool though. It shows a good result. Unsure why the LightWave example I saw wasn't that neat. What I noticed was that all of these guys were all up here above this line, so it seems to be, these guys seem to be stretched out all over the field, which sounds exaggerated, I guess, which probably isn't that great. Anyway, in my test, I found it to be very good. I mean, considering I just did some super small tweaks here. Did I do any tweaks, by the way? I think I just cleaned up the music in the background. Usually you don't have music in the background, so overall I think that this was pretty damn cool. Now on their page it says $5,000, but what you gotta do is you gotta install the trial, and maybe that will make this cost $500, which is fair. I mean, it depends on how much you use it, of course. It does export to LightWave morphs, so that's awesome. Yeah, anyway, that's it. Let's have a look.
The beige hue on the waters of the loch impressed all, including the French queen, before she heard that symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted.
So, you know, with basically no tweaks, this is pretty damn good. And it's not AI, it's not artificial intelligence. You don't need an RTX card like phase to audio, NVIDIA phase to audio. It's not online, so that's super. It's not subscription. So, I mean, yeah, let's just have another look at. And remember, I did basically no tweaks to this. This is just so my tablet pen is kind of going.
The beige hue on the waters of the loch impressed all, including the French queen, before she heard that symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted.
Not perfect, but considering this is not AI, I think this is damn good. You can... It's easy to skew the tones, also decrease the exaggeration. So let's see.
The beige
let's go
beige hue on the beige hue.
That's one thing I like better in TAFA, that it actually doesn't replay the sound like that. It's in TAFA you have slow motion audio, which is damn cool, but this doesn't do that. Anyway, so yeah, you can. Yeah, what I noticed in the other video was that this was in the LightWave video that was not that great. I noticed that these were way up here. And you really do not want that. Okay, so when you talk, you usually do not exaggerate sounds. So let's try that over again.
The beige hue on the waters of the loch impressed all, including the French queen.
I'm having a bit of a, let's see.
French queen, before she heard that symphony again.
Excuse, it's my tablet, which is kind of funky. What happens when I'm using my tablet is that it thinks I'm dragging over an area like this, but I'm not. So, anyway.
Loch impressed all, including the French.
I think that this one is a bit much.
Including the French, including
one is, let's see. You know, it's just better to use the arrow keys here.
Lock and pressed all, include.
This is just too much.
Including.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is different ways to go about this. I can hold down Shift, which is fairly easy. Just go like that, and I selected all of those. I can now drag multiple of these guys down, which could just make things easy for me. So let's see.
And pressed all, including the French Queen, before she heard that.
Yeah, lots better, much better.
Pressed all, including the French Queen, before she heard that symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted. Just as young Arthur wanted.
Here we have something funky also.
Young Arthur wanted.
It's good, but it's just way too exaggerated.
Just as young.
That
Just as young.
that's not good. But it's doing it too fast. So yeah, when I use the arrow keys, it jumps too much. I'm not sure if I can fix that somewhere. Yeah, no. I don't know. Maybe there's a way. But anyways.
And just as young Arthur. Young Arthur.
Yeah, this is just going. Maybe it's just going too fast. Sometimes it's just easier. It's a cheat, I guess. But sometimes it's just easier to just forget about it. Forget about where the actual problem is. You know it's within that area, so you just do this. You just drag all of them down, and that will fix some stuff. Hopefully. Quick fix instead of trying to, use hours doing that kind of stuff.
Symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted. Symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted.
Let's see.
Arthur wanted.
I think that is a sound. Let's see.
Wanted.
Yeah, I don't know why these are up. This is the music in the background, so that's why I'm getting that kind of funky thing. So of course, usually we will not have that. Maybe a bit tricky to get this one, is it? I'll just do that. So yeah, usually of course you don't have music in the background. Okay.
Just as young Arthur wanted.
So, this tool, I don't know, they introduced it in 2010, so the cost maybe $500. I might install the trial with 30k free trial. See what happens. Okay, last one. Last play. Again, no subscription and offline. And easy to use. Of course, the facial expressions you'll tweak using either LightWave morphs or Tafa. Whatever. But yeah, okay. Let's have a last look at this.
The beige hue on the waters of the loch impressed all, including the French Queen, before she heard that symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted.
I just want to hide the eyes because sometimes you just get a better feeling of the morphs here could be better. Sometimes you just get a better feeling of what the animation actually is like.
The beige hue on the waters of the loch impressed all, including the French queen, before she heard that symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted.
I'll add a last Disney trick, which is offsetting the audio filter. So it will basically, it says here, Lipsync looks better if the animation happens frame before the audio. So what it will do is it will move all of these guys like that. Yeah. So do that. Move all of those here. See it shifted.
The beige hue on the waters of the loch impressed all, including the French queen, before she heard that symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted.
So it's a bit stiff, but you could fix that using dynamics in LightWave, for example, soft effects or cloth effects. I could try to do this shift one more time, but I'm unsure if it's going to be that great. Let's see.
The beige hue on the waters of the loch impressed all, including the French queen, before she heard that symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted.
You know what, let's undo that twice. Because I almost feel like the 2D animation 83 minus 83 milliseconds. I feel like this could be better actually. Do that, so let's say 80. Then we'll shift it. Of course, this is, you don't need to do when you use this program, you don't need to really think about it. You could just do all of these things fast. This is the first time I use this application, and I'm already working super fast compared to how extremely slow Lipsync really is. So this tool could save you like months, really, depending, of course. Anyway, so I used the 80 millisecond offset there, and I think that will be a touch better. So let's see.
The beige hue on the waters of the loch impressed all, including the French queen, before she heard that symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted.
Was it that much better? Maybe not. You know, you're never gonna get this perfect. So I think that the NVIDIA is just better. However, I do not like that it's hooked to the cloud. And basically, if NVIDIA, audio to face NVIDIA, tells you that, you know, we're not going to support this project anymore, then we're kind of screwed. So, let's do this and make it the last option, or last step.
The beige hue on the waters of the loch impressed all, including the French queen, before she heard that symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted.
Alright, so add some soft effects to that, or something like that. You get a pretty good, decent lip sync animation in zero time, I guess. Let's 0, but yeah. This could really save you months of work. Of course, for big exaggerations and stuff, use something like Tafa or something like that. There used to be a tool called Mimic Pro, but researching back in the days, it was nothing like this. Didn't come close really to this quality. I'm not saying that this quality is perfect. It's by no means perfect, but compared to other tools out there today, this is pretty damn good.
The beige hue on the waters of the loch impressed all, including the French queen, before she heard that symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted.
And one more thing. It's a good idea to try to not exaggerate the mouth movements unless you're doing cartoons. If you're creating cartoons, then exaggerate, cool, but if you're doing something somewhat more realistic, try to make it much more subtle instead. Make the movements less instead of exaggerating. It will look better. Anyway, way too long talk.